Hello, welcome back to another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.
Ted, before we get going, I want to go back because a couple of weeks ago we discussed the movie Your Place or Mine.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought something up that really has stuck with me. And that was that this era, this generation, doesn't have a romantic comedy duo like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and those. And who is that? Who's filling that void? And it's really stuck with me. And I went back. Meg Ryan was like the queen of romantic comedies between what was it, 80, 89, 86?
86.
86?
What was she in 86?
89.
Yeah,
89.
89 to
80.
like 98.
Yeah.
When's You've Got Mail?
It was like 89. It was one of her big ones.
No, You've Got Mail is You've Got Mail.
Sleepless, You Got Mail, Kate and Leopold, Harry Met Sally.
Oh, did you just, come on.
I did. I wrote it because she was,
that was good. You've Got Mail, 98.
98.
So it was 89 to 98.
Okay.
Kate and Leopold is on the downward swing.
She was like the queen of rom-coms.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, But I want to go back because, I really have been thinking about this one. Dane Cook. I couldn't remember his name during the broadcast. He would have actually been a good Josh Switch. Dane Cook playing Josh. He could have done.
Wait, do you mean Ashton?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ashton's role. Sorry.
You think Dane Cook? Yeah,
Dane Cook could have taken over Ashton's role.
I think, and I'm just gonna say this. I one time I met Dane Cook when I was working out. He was very polite, asking me to, hey man, can you hand me that? So very polite person, but
was he doing that so that you would recognize who he was?
No, he had the hat pulled down. He had the whole thing.
Because there are people that do that,
right? But Dane Cook, I think they tried to make that happen for 4 movies, and he didn't. You've got or whatever. Chuck or whatever the one where he was Chuck and if he banged you, you got married next. Right. He did a few. The one where he worked at a Sam's Club, Employee of the Month,
with Dak Shepard. Yeah,
I mean he did 3 or 4 and none of them worked.
Yeah, but he could have done that. He could have. I'm just saying.
He could have.
I've been thought about it because you're absolutely. It was blowing my mind that this generation. I grew up with somebody or a number of people like Tom Hanks. He was, a good go-to on the rom-coms and all that. So yeah, I just wanted to touch back on that because it is. We're going into a movie that it fits with.
Mm-hmm.
This is we're going to be discussing We Have a Ghost. It's not a rom-com. It's a great movie, I think. And
it's a family movie.
Family movie, yeah. But that's really been bothering me. I can't believe that there's a whole generation missing out on romantic comedies. And I think generations need romantic comedy.
I get you. I often wonder, I guess people in this up and coming younger 20s-ish, early 20s, late teens, I guess they watch movies. Do they?
Yeah,
it seems like they're on their phone all the time.
Well, yeah, they
YouTube.
I think they're kind of relegated to watching, Marvel-esque kind of movies and horror, and they're not.
They don't want a rom-com.
They don't want a rom-com, and they don't want family-friendly movies. They want very specific movies.
So the movie it's funny. I was talking to one of the producers on the thing that I wrote and made last year, because we're going to come out next year. And I was like, they were like, I don't think it appeals to people under 30. And I'm like, I didn't write it for people under 30. Like, it's just nothing in it is written for anyone under 30
Is it kind of a romantic comedy?
Yeah, it's a romantic dramedy.
Oh, okay.
It's more drama than comedy, but there's some comedic moments. But like, I don't know how to write for them. Yeah. I don't know how to write for those kids. Yeah. I've written 3 movies. I have no clue how to write for them.
Where's the John Cusack of your generation? Where is it? Who is it?
Of my generation?
Yeah.
Who's the John Cusack?
I don't. Of my kids' generation.
Your kids' generation is the one I wonder about. Where there is none of that. That is not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, my wife has been watching repeatedly the new Maverick.
I just watched it. I need to talk to your wife.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty great movie.
She does not remember Jennifer Connelly from Career Opportunity.
Oh, great movie. Her and Frank Whaley locked in a Target.
Yeah. It was awesome.
It's a great movie.
She was awesome. And I was like, I was blown away. It was her. But she didn't remember her. And I was like, but she, I mean,
it's just, we'll get into this about us. We're both just going to praise this movie. So that is not going to be a very exciting
There's not a lot
review.
to talk about it, but, but it's a good movie.
Yeah. It is, they don't want to, you know what I notice? Younger people don't want to watch people talk and interact. They want to watch things blow up or be scared.
You're probably right.
Like Maverick is a great movie, but like there's not a lot of talking.
Yeah.
There's a little bit. There's talking, there's scenes, but they're concise.
They are. Yeah, it's the dialogue in that movie is action driven. I mean, it's like you're in a plane and you're more compelled by the flying, the maneuvers being done, than you are what they're communicating. Because what they're communicating is just real simple stuff.
And it's also like a nuts and bolts movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a nuts and bolts by the, action, super cool movie. And the dialogue is great. It's just makes its point very quickly.
Yeah.
Unlike the movie we reviewed last, Babylon, this movie is very concise and does not feel like it's 2 hours long.
Right.
It moves. But anyway, we need to get into about it.
Yeah. And
we have a ghost.
I want to go back. Speaking of Top Gun, we were talking about the Jonas Brothers. It was Joe Jonas that I thought did a great job in the movie Devotion. I made. And if you haven't seen that movie, I thought that was actually better than Top Gun Maverick.
I know what movie you're talking about, but
it's
good. I'll check it out.
No, it's great. All right. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Let's get into this movie, and that is We Have a Ghost, and it stars Jahi Di'Allo Winston. That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
And David Harbour, Anthony Mackie, Isabella Russo, Jennifer Coolidge once again.
Tig Notaro.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pattern of very busy actors in Hollywood right now, and we're seeing that. Erica Ash and Niles Fitch. They're all in this movie. David Harbour was great.
Without speaking. Wonderful. I can't sing his praises enough.
You're right.
As an actor.
He did not. I was.
He said one word.
Yeah.
Junebug.
June.
He didn't even say bug.
He didn't even say. No.
So let's give the plot. In this world, there's this pretty awesome old house from the 1920s, and people keep vacating it, and it's always for sale because there's a ghost. And in this world, this ghost will come out and tries to scare people and does all the things, but this family moves in. The young son does not want to be there. He wants to play guitar, and the ghost comes out to scare him, and he starts filming it. He thinks it's funny. They, talk. The brother takes the video, puts it on YouTube, and the video goes viral as the first real ghost video.
The brother and the dad.
Which
is played by Anthony Mackie.
Right, and Anthony Mackie, it's kind of set up that he has kind of been a screw-up the whole family's life, and he's just trying to get this ghost thing to happen so that he can, make his money and do well for his family. But I guess he's had a bunch, they allude to that he's had a lot of get-rich-quick schemes.
Yeah.
And so him and the son the older son, they get along. They're buddies. But him and his younger son, they don't really get along.
Right.
And so as the video of the ghost starts to keep going and they keep making videos and keep doing stuff, he becomes close with the ghost and the ghost is his friend. Then the media comes in. And the dad has Jennifer Coolidge come because she doesn't think it's a real ghost or any of that.
Yeah, she's the host of a paranormal show.
Yeah, she's like the Long Island Medium.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she comes. They have a whole thing. The ghost, he tells them to get put on a show. The ghost freaks everybody out and scares everybody. And then the next day, everyone is there. Every person surrounding their house wanting to see the ghost. And, yeah. I don't want to give away the plot on this one. Normally, I would talk more. I don't want to give away anything past that.
Yeah, from the get-go, I'm going to say you need to watch this. And by the way, it's on Netflix. It's an original. It's 2 hours and 7 minutes. It's a family film. It doesn't have any lulls in it. It felt like it was like an hour and a half max, because it just flowed. It really did. It was just a good movie. But you just were talking, and you brought up the point of this kid, and his attitude towards the ghost, which is very indicative of what we started the show with. What do these kids like to watch? Not even being fazed by it. So
yeah. Oh wow, I just tie back in because
it does.
They're always watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a neighbor girl that he has a crush on, and they have a crush on each other, and it's like a nice little fun romance.
Yeah, Isabella Russo, she was phenomenal in this movie too.
Yeah, she's quirky, he's quirky. I think that's the thing with the young kids that are the leading people now, to where when I was growing up or you were growing up, we're talking about Emilio Estevez or Charlie Sheen or Judd Nelson or Rob Lowe are your leading men when you were in your teens and 20s.
Right.
So mine are Channing Tatum and these Ashton Kutcher and like dudes. Right. And like now they're Timothy Chalamet and this kid and like, yeah. They're more like, since the thing is like, oh, our leading men are like more sensitive, sort of wayfishy, really
they're normal,
skinny, normal dudes.
They're
normal high school kids.
Right. They're not the jocks.
They're not. Yeah, that is not interesting.
That's just the nerds. I mean, you look at YouTube today, and you look at people that are the YouTube influencers or stars, whatever, Mr. Beast. He wasn't an athlete. I say that. I don't know, but he doesn't come across as an athlete. He seems like very much a nerd, a geek. Casey Neistat, big influencer. But they're not the athletes that were the influencers in a pre-influencer world in my generation.
Yeah.
You lived in fear because of jocks and
that's not a thing anymore.
No, it's not.
I mean, I think that, like, I'm sure in high school, the dichotomy of high school, like, sure, I mean, I'm sure if you're good at sports, you're still popular. But I imagine 21 Jump Street does the movie does a really good version of this, where, like, Noah, they're coming up, and it's Tatum and what's his? What did I just blank on? Jonah, not
Jonah
Noah.
Hill.
Jonah Hill, and like Jonah Hill's really nervous, and because he was a nerd in high school, and Channing Tatum was cool, and he goes, "No, man, it's cool. Just we're just gonna let him know who we are." First thing, the first kid says one thing to him, and Channing Tatum lays him out, and like all the kids are like, "Why did you do that? He's blah blah blah." It's like, did you do that because he's gay? And he's like, "No, and he just freaks out, and it's like. Yeah, none of that's crap from when we were coming up is a real thing anymore.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
I prefer it. Yeah,
I really do. I mean, I love that the nerds are getting are the ones that are recognized today.
It's just the same. You're like, oh, you can be good at sports and popular, but also you can be good at video games and popular.
Yeah, then yes. I've recently had kids that went through the high school system, so I got to see a little of that dynamic and the popular kids and, anyway. So anyway, let's talk about performances in here, because we had a little conversation early or before the taping here. Jahi Di'Allo Winston, that's a lot. I agree with you. We were discussing this. At first, I didn't like him.
He didn't find his way, and I don't know if they shot it in order or what, but he didn't find his way till about... I think he found his way right before the Jennifer Coolidge scene.
Page 22 of the script.
Yes. He was very playing at I'm depressed and angry.
Yeah. And
then it all of a sudden, once the Jennifer Coolidge scene before where he was like, Ernest, if they want a show, let's give them a show. That's when I was like, okay, now I'm on board for this kid. And I like the rest of the movie. I liked his performance in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was like, I agree. And that's what I wanted to bring up with you. I wondered myself, looking back at the movie, was this movie really kind of more or less shot in order? I know how movies are shot, guys. So just to break it down to you, they do a board. Like you've got an interior bedroom scene. They'll go into that bedroom and they'll shoot every scene in a movie in that bedroom. So they'll clean that scene out and then, or that set out, and they'll move on to the next one. And so movies are shot out of order. I mean, it's just like when you get somewhere, you shoot everything you need to shoot at that location or in that set.
But they only had that, I guess what I'm trying to say is they had that house be 60% of the set.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would shoot it in order in the house.
Most everything was in that house. And so I think you're absolutely right. I think they came in and they shot all the house stuff first. That was the first lineup. You know, we're going to live here for 20 days and we've got whatever it is, 80 scenes or whatever, and we're going to shoot those first. And they shot those scenes, and you typically take whatever your biggest scene set is and shoot all those first. Like they're in this house and majority of the storyline takes place in this attic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they came in and they shot everything right up there. Very first thing was in the attic stuff because you can tell he's just not really as an actor that comfortable. But you're right. As the movie goes on, as the scenes break down, he did great. He really did. But it's obvious you can see the transition in his comfortability.
Yeah, and his brother was really funny. His brother added some nice comic relief.
Yeah, Niles Fitch. He was great.
I thought he was great. The mom didn't have anything to do. Like it was lost on her. She did a good job, but she didn't really have anything to do. She didn't have a lot. No. Look, I play that all the time. You're somebody's husband in this movie. Say like 7 lines and then walk off.
Right.
Anthony Mackie was great. He's always great. You don't like him?
I don't.
You don't like Anthony Mackie?
I really don't.
He's super likable.
I don't know. I just don't. He doesn't appeal to me. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. He just doesn't appeal to me.
I get it. I thought he did good in this.
Yeah, I
mean, it wasn't. Again, it's not about him.
No,
it is about him learning that he made a mistake. He made a mistake trying to get rich quick, and it's more about his son, and then that's his story arc.
Yeah,
And the end. Come on, I'm not going to ruin the end, but the end scene was very heartfelt.
It was. I'm trying to put this. We watched Your Place or Mine.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the young lady that spent 70% of the movie with Reese Witherspoon's character in that movie. I forget her name, but she tried too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. I just thought in this Anthony Mackie tried too hard.
Do you know why? That you feel like Anthony Mackie tries too hard?
Because all the others were so weak?
No.
Or, it came across that way.
Sometimes.
I don't know.
I like Anthony Mackie, but in
I don't
general,
have anything against him.
In general, in his performances, you can feel a little bit of him performing because he went to Juilliard.
Okay, well,
that's true. But I mean, I enjoy watching him perform. You know what I'm saying? Him as the Falcon. I like it. He's funny. He's performing though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
he's my least favorite MCU character.
But it's a difference in watching him and then watching Robert Downey Jr. play Iron Man. He just is Iron Man. He's not performing Iron Man. He is Iron Man.
Yeah.
So there's just two different things. Like Hawkeye's, Jeremy Renner's a great actor. He's performing Hawkeye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a slight difference.
I mean, Jeremy Renner, yes, because no, you're absolutely right. Because Jeremy Renner plays his character in all the Mission Impossibles. it's much more believable than he is as Hawkeye in the MCU.
I would think, and again, not to sidebar us, but like, I would think, this is me as an actor. I don't have a ton of interest in being in a big budget superhero movie. I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool, and no one's ever going to ask me to play a supervillain or a superhero, but I don't think it'd be very fun or interesting to do.
Oh, it's money. I mean,
it's money.
It's a big check.
I think the first Iron Man is super interesting, and I think I watch all the Marvel movies. It takes me some time, but like, it just seems like a nightmare to shoot. Awful.
Yeah.
Just like awful, not fun. Like, we're on a green screen. We'll do like, literally how those are shot for 6 months is like you do like 2 lines and then they have to fully set up another shot for, you might get 2 or 3 shots a day. It'd just be boring.
Yeah.
But back to this movie.
Yeah. David Harbour.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Amazing. You know what my fiance said? She's like, Tig Notaro, she just can't be serious. I don't believe her when she's serious, but when she's funny, I love her. And that's accurate, I think.
Yeah.
Like, she's not great in this movie, except the few comedic moments she has.
Right.
She's not great when she's being real intense and serious. I just don't believe her. But I like Tig Notaro.
Well, especially, here we go. She was in Your Place or Mine. So
funny.
She was. And I didn't get that. They missed a moment. Not a spoiler. Well, it is a spoiler. I don't really want to say it. That moment in this movie where Tig Notaro does what she does to David Harbour's character.
Mm-hmm.
Did she do that because she was getting back at the CIA director character, or they didn't? I missed it. If there was something there,
I don't think they filled it out.
I don't either. I was lost. Why all of a sudden are we doing this?
Yeah, I honestly thought like
that was the only misstep.
We can't jump in any deeper than this because we ruined the movie. Because we'll talk off camera about this. Because I honestly thought that what happened at the very end is what was about to happen at that point.
Yeah, I could see that.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
That's what I thought was happening, and they missed on that. That's the only miss.
That's the only miss, and that's the reason I bring it up. There's only one miss in this movie, and it's at the what would be the 90% mark. So you get along, and it's just a little. I think they got to a point and they said, "Okay, how are we going to make this end work?"
Yeah. We need to add 10 minutes to this movie.
And we need, let's do it here, because it took a bad direction. You know what I like in this movie too? I like in this movie, you're gonna love this. All those old Disney movies with like Kurt Russell, The World's Strongest, The Invisible Man. Mm-hmm. That's what I like in this movie. I mean, it was shot in that similar style. And Kurt Russell, The Invisible Man, 1970 whatever. You got to go back and you got to watch it because it was just, it was the same style.
Okay, I've never seen that. I'll go back and watch it.
Yeah, well, you'll enjoy it because it's Kurt.
Yeah, and I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah, well, he's great.
I had something to say to you before that. Oh, you know what? I always like to think that we're better than how we actually are. Because every movie, as soon as they get a ghost or get a creature or anything, they just cage it up and torture it and poke it and prod it until they can figure out what's right. And I think, like, in my head, I'm like, would we do that? And then now I'm like, of course we would do that. Of course we would. If there are aliens, people, of course they're not going to just let themselves be known. They don't want to know that, because if we caught them, we just ruin everything. People ruin everything. In The Last of Us,
James Bond is very glad that they like to lock you up and torture you, because then he would never have. He would die in every James Bond movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody would just go, "Oh, we got James Bond," boom. Dead,
well, it's
gone.
just like they never in a movie go to an alien or a ghost or anything and be like, "Hey, what's up? How can we help you, or can we help each other?" They're just immediately like, lock it up, see what we can get out of it, and then we have weapons against that for the future. And it's like, what is going on? Government.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I enjoyed it. I really did. It was refreshing to see this kind of movie.
I loved it.
I don't know why it's not higher on the Netflix top 10 list.
6.1 is the review, and I'm like, oh, what?
No. This movie is this is a good family, enjoyable movie. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with this movie other than that one scene that makes no sense.
Right, and it's not that yeah, I mean, and it's also like the director is writer-director. He's done like Paranormal Activities. He's done a lot of cool stuff. This is really well directed and well written.
It was.
And like for this guy to have done those more intense films, like he's done Freaky. That movie's wonderful. If you haven't seen Freaky,
No, I haven't.
you know, it came out a few years ago, and it came out during the pandemic, and it's where Vince Vaughn is a serial killer, like a big, mean, axe-wielding serial killer, and he changes places with a 17-year-old hot girl. It's hilarious. And he also did Happy Death Day 1 and 2. Those are great movies. He did Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse. This dude just does really good movies. He's really talented.
He wrote and directed this.
Yeah, Christopher Landon.
Okay.
He's great. I've actually loved everything he's done, and this seems like his more family-oriented film. And for what it is, in that genre, family, comedy, adventure, I give this a 92 in that genre.
In that genre.
Overall, as just a movie, I give it probably an 83.
I'm not going to disagree with you on either count there. What this movie showed to me, because I wasn't blown away, other than David Harbour, with any of the performances of the actors. Well, Isabella Russo, she did great too. She really carried her weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the acting was mediocre at best from everybody. It was good. I mean, that was rough. I shouldn't have said that. They did their job. They did their job well, but it was nothing phenomenal.
It's not written to be phenomenal.
But
though.
the script, the story, the way it was written and directed and shot, carried the movie.
Well made.
It was. It took average performances and they made a good movie because of the script and the direction. I've said it before. I hated the movie On the Rocks, but Bill Murray's performance in On the Rocks carried that movie. I mean, the story was, the direction was, I did not like it.
Gotcha.
On the Rocks. But Bill Murray's performance left me liking the movie after I initially watched it.
Yeah.
Just because of that. This is the complete opposite. There was no real acting other than Harbour and Isabella Russo that left me longing, but the script did and the direction.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
yeah, that's where it was for me. But I agree. I think in this genre, this is a 90 to a 92 as a movie overall. I'm an 80, 82.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Overall. So to me it's a watch. It's a definite watch.
It's a definite watch.
So, and the fact that again, it's got one word in the whole movie, but yet you connected with David Harbour's character just from his acting.
Mm-hmm.
From his portrayal of that role. So that says a lot.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
All right. A lot of good stuff coming down. I'm excited about TV again.
Yeah, me too.
Good stuff. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. We like you here. Tell your friends. Download, listen.
And if you're at the Nashville Comic-Con next Sunday, I will be at a booth, and I will be wearing some of our merch. So come say hi.
Thanks for listening to Streaming Without a Paddle. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ted.